Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Crashed Insanity. Are you looking to buy a new phone but you're on a budget? Check out the top 5 phones which are under 10,000. Before we begin, hit the subscribe button and turn on notification to be up to date with our latest updates. Also, before we begin, I would like to mention that on a budget of 10,000 rupees and below, you're not gonna get flagship performance, but the performance of these phones mentioned in the list is decent for any day-to-day task, and even gaming performance is pretty decent. But high-end games which require a lot of GPU and processing power will not run the best. Now let's get into it. The number 5 spot goes to Lenovo K5 Note. The K5 Note comes with a 1080p 5.5-inch IPS LCD display with a storage option of 32 GB, which is expandable through a memory card. The phone is powered by an octa-core processor by MediaTek, which clocks at about 1.8 GHz, and the GPU is a Male T860. The RAM options available are 3 GB and 4 GB, but in the version which has a 32 GB storage, you get a 3 GB RAM. The camera is a decent camera, which is a 13 megapixel shooter with f2.2 aperture, and the secondary front-facing camera is an 8 megapixel camera. On the battery front, it sports a 3500 mAh battery, which is good enough to last you an entire day of heavy usage. The number 4 spot goes to the Panasonic Eluga Note. This phone comes with a 1080p IPS LCD display, and again you get a 32 GB onboard storage which has a dedicated memory card slot. So instead of putting in one SIM and one memory card, you can put in 2 SIMs and there is a separate memory card slot. The phone is powered by an octa-core MediaTek processor which clocks at 1.3 GHz, and the GPU is the Male T720 MP3, which is decent for mediocre gaming. The phone comes with a 3 GB RAM and a 16 megapixel primary camera with f1.9 aperture, which makes it great for night photography. The primary camera is a little disappointing as it is only a 5 megapixel camera. On the battery front, it sports a 3000 mAh battery which is non-removable, but that again is good for a day's usage. The number 3 spot goes to the Panasonic Remap. This phone again comes with a 1080p display, but the display is slightly smaller this time. The phone sports a 5.2-inch IPS LCD display, and the storage that you get on board is 32 GB. Again, in this phone you get a dedicated memory card slot, which means you can use 2 SIMs and a separate memory card. The processor is slightly more powerful. The phone sports a Snapdragon 430 octa-core processor which clocks at 1.4 GHz, and the phone is powered by an Adreno 505 GPU, which is amazing for gaming. This phone comes with a 4 GB RAM, so you can expect all your applications and games to run very smoothly. On the camera front, you get a 16 megapixel primary shooter with f2.4, and the front-facing camera is an 8 megapixel camera with a 2.2 aperture. The battery is again 3000 mAh, and because of the smaller screen, it is good enough for a day's usage of heavy usage and hardcore gaming. At number 2, you have the Lenovo K6 Power, which comes with a full HD display which is 5-inch and is a IPS LCD display. The storage space that you have on this phone is 32 GB, which is expandable through a memory card, but the memory expansion slot here is a hybrid, so you can either use 2 SIM cards or you can use 1 SIM card and a memory card to expand your storage. The phone is powered by a Snapdragon 430 octa-core processor which is clocked at 1.4 GHz and 1.1 GHz. The GPU here is the Adreno 505, which is great for gaming, and you get a 3GB RAM on board. The primary camera is a 13 megapixel shooter with a secondary camera of 8 megapixel. The battery life is amazing on this phone as the screen is only 5 inches big and the battery is 4000 mAh. This is probably the best battery that you'll get, and the battery life would last you more than a day without any problems. The number one spot without a doubt goes to the Redmi Note 4. There are two variants available of the Redmi Note 4 which are under 10,000. Both the Redmi Note 4 variants sport a 1080p display which is 5.5 inches big and are a IPS LCD display. You can get two storage options, one with 16GB and 32GB, and the RAM would vary between 2GB and 3GB depending on your preference. The phone is powered by a Snapdragon 625 processor which clocks at 2 GHz, and it is powered by an Adreno 506 GPU. As mentioned earlier, you get a RAM option of 2GB and 3GB depending on what you want. On the camera front, you get a 13 megapixel f2.0 shooter as your primary camera, and the secondary camera is a 5 megapixel camera with an f2.0 aperture. The Redmi Note 4 comes with a 4100 mAh battery and supports dual SIM hybrid technology, which means you can either expand your memory and use a SIM, or you can use two SIMs at a time. So those were our picks for the top 5 phones. If you would like to watch more videos like this, please click on the like button and mention in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel for more insane videos.